It's a lovely evening with our producers Andy Wright and Gavin Goldberg, and we are so honored that they took their time and would have a chat with us.
We weren't busy.
No,
No.
we weren't busy. Yeah.
Speak for
At these times, anyway. Yeah, that's true.
That's the only reason why we did it.
No, I try to be official, and it's all spoiled. See, that's how we work.
Yeah.
It's somebody's trying to be serious, and then it's all just gone. So my first question, why you actually got into the Punt Guns, and when we met for the first time, why you just chose to work with us? What was the reason?
Yeah, we weren't busy. I told you.
So the same like for this podcast, actually. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, why don't you, Andy, tell a little bit of the story of how you guys came to meet? Because I wasn't there in the very beginning.
I mean, I think actually in the context of our job, thankfully we don't have to sort of put out too much for the work to come. That's also perhaps a sort of by virtue of the fact that we've been making records for quite a long time and had quite a lot of them, do reasonably well. So work tends to come forward. So what we do is we generally tend to meet people if we feel, that's got some, that sounds like that could be really interesting. We'll do a meeting and see if we get on. I think it's first and foremost is we need to like the music. We need to like the intention of the music, even if what we're is delivered to us by way of demos is sort of more fledgling or in potential, but more than anything, what you don't want to do is find yourself in a room with people that you can't work with or you don't like or don't share your sensibilities. And if you've got a few options, then you probably would want to steer that. And one of the other things that we do to to make that happen is that we generally tend to suggest that we do a session together with 4 songs. I don't think we ever really engage on a whole album in one go ever. What we do is we say let's work together for 4 songs and see if we feel that we can work together, if we feel we can make something good for you. It works both ways in a way, because if we absolute worst case scenario for us is that we would deliver something to you that you're not happy with. So we move on, and then nobody's spent too much money, and we haven't ruined everything. You've got other options. So that was really how it started. We were approached by you. Actually, I was approached by Gigi through a mutual friend, and I answered the email, and we arranged a meeting. I listened to the stuff, thought, yeah, that sounds like it could be interesting, and we went on from there.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying, it's what is the most important, that you're in the room with the people you like.
I don't think it's very hard to make music with people you don't. And I think even the Beatles, when they started hating each other, they made all their music in separate rooms for quite some time, and then they came together for short periods of time to record it.
It seems like a double-edged sword, because sometimes you read the stories about the bands and when they hated each other, and they actually at the same time they created some of the best
There's
records.
a lot of that kind of thing goes
Right.
on, and if
Like
everybody's
hate and love.
too much in agreement, it's like Spinal Tap said, and the band broke up because of musical similarities.
I know what you're saying, but actually, what in a way, I understand the question. But if you look at a band like the Eagles, who absolutely detested each other to the point of killing each other, they actually quite liked each other when they started, and it became a commercial venture. By the time they hated each other, they basically had to do it for the money. So
Actually, we recently did a record with a band that'll remain nameless, where the one principal member of the band couldn't be in the room with the other one, and they had to do their bits independently and then send them, and then we stuck them all together. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I like the fact that they should remain nameless, because actually they are a notable band, but yeah, they couldn't work together.
I mean the Nameless. They're a really famous punk band, from the 80s.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. The Nameless.
You can edit that out if you, or it's a guessing game. Send your answers on a postcard to Punt Guns.
Oh, that's a great name for a band. Actually, is there a band with that name?
With what name?
With Nameless.
Probably.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think
that's
so.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. But probably not. They're not famous.
What about
Polish band?
Kazakhstan? What about the fact that you know, we're not exactly a band. We were more like a duo, right? And working with, I mean, how does
Yeah,
that?
but I mean, for me, the wonderful thing about Punt Guns is that you came to me as a duo and you finished off as a duo,
Yeah.
and in between you became a four-piece and then went back to being a duo.
Yeah.
So we didn't
crazy.
really get involved in working with a full band. I sort of met you and Marek, and my only concern actually at the beginning was whether Marek would ever like anything we did, because he had that sort of intensity about him, which I think makes him a great artist. But you know, sometimes you don't know when you're with someone whether you're going to give your absolute best and that it's not going to be quite good enough.
I never worried about that.
Oh.
I see.
I took one look at him.
Well,
and
let me say it another way. I was worried
So-
Gavin might not be able to do the work to make him happy.
I took one look and I thought, he's going to take what he gets. You're going to take what he gets.
Yeah.
No.
No,
But actually, it was great because, you know, talking about the difference between the band and the duo aspect of it, because actually, because I wasn't there in the initial meeting, and I met you guys kind of as a band. I can't remember if I met you before, but I remember when Baron came over with Mimi, and that was like the original Punt Guns, the way I know that from chatting, you explained how you had other drummers and all the rest of it, but that was when we went into the studio the first time. It felt like a band in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like a band all the way through. I think that was sort of, even when those guys fell away, the feeling that this is a band record sort of still remained in my mind anyway. It wasn't that it was going to sound like a duo. you
Yeah,
know.
that's true. The initial idea was always that we are a band. We started as we were a duo, but we always were looking for the people to just make us, like a full band. So we were like searching for the drummer, we were searching for the singers, searching for other members of the band.
And then one day you looked in the mirror.
And
you
then,
thought,
one day.
fucking hell.
Do you remember that day?
That person I've been looking for is me.
Andy, do you remember that day?
Yeah, of course. Which the day when...
Do you remember?
Well, tell me which day you were talking about, just so.
No, when it was
It wasn't that day when we went out and we met those girls. Oh no, sorry, that's
for him. No,
No,
for Marek. No, it was a song that we have not yet recorded, right? Titled "This Can Only End Badly."
Really?
Yeah,
I
and
love
I remember.
I like that title. It's
A bit like this podcast.
I did remember that day in the studio at Plato Studio where like, what's gonna happen,
Oh, is this the
and I
day when you came over and we were looking for?
on my phone I played you and I said, and you turned to him and you just went, okay.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a pivotal moment in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And actually, what I didn't really, I think is, first of all, I have to say to our credit, and I'll tell you this about Gavin and myself, is the way we work. We commit to people, and we it's our absolute, intention to never let people down. Music is a dream, and to be doing it is a dream for everybody. And if we shattered your dream by being uncommitted or not giving everything, that would be would be terrible for us. So if we feel we haven't, people are not satisfied, we'd climb another mountain to make it so.
Yeah.
But but actually on that day, it seemed to make so much sense to me that it would be you guys, because you were the guys that came in. So all we had to do was to convince Marek, aka Charisma,
Yeah.
that he had all the credentials to be the front man as well as the
That's it.
inspirational bass player and the songwriter. So the lyric writer.
Yeah.
So you guys collaborate on the songs, and he has to go and put the lyrics in. Actually, what I found very inspirational was what he came back with on the first song lyrically. I thought it was really unusual, different, inspired.
That was actually the
Most
first
Sacred
song was
Thing, right?
Most Sacred Thing
Most
in the
Sacred Thing,
Universe.
Is that
Yeah,
the one,
yeah.
that's the one
Yeah,
with
that's
the
the one.
whistle on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the one
it.
with the whistle.
Amazing,
That's the one
actually.
we recorded as the first song, actually.
That was
So-
an amazing moment when I think Gavin, you sent it to me by email, and I was in Hong Kong at the time, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
and it was
Ah,
suddenly it
as
was
a-
a window
okay.
into Marek's
That's a-
mind as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But actually, when we were talking on the last, when you came down and we chatted, the sort of, we spoke about the sort of evolution of Marek's sort of, not just singing but the vocals and the confidence and the being the front person, and how we went from those earlier ones where it was all about how can we sort of, you know, manipulate the voice and screw it up and all that, and finishing up with this really great raw, passionate vocal performance, which was just sort of pretty much untouched, and that was great.
That was cool. Like the evolution from the science to actually you know, something real.
There's a movie in there actually. It's called Becoming Charisma.
It's a series with many episodes.
Yeah, it's a series. I'm wondering who's going to be you in the film.
That's it.
That retrospect.
Let me think.
I don't know.
Christian Bale.
Oh, that would be great.
Christian Bale is good.
Danny DeVito.
Right?
Danny DeVito. He's just right. He's maybe on the first, and the Christian Bale is the second.
That's
it.
Of
course.
That's for part 2, right?
Yeah.
That's not. That's saving charisma.
Saving charisma's privates.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito is great. I love him. He's awesome.
I love him too.
He's awesome. I just once said something inappropriate, but I better shut up.
I was just imagining the actor. You know, if Danny DeVito's playing you, you'd be this real, like you'd be this Brooklyn sort of New York guy in the movie.
Yeah, imagine him playing the bass.
Yo, guys, I got this new riff. What do you think?
Bada bing, bada boom. How you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Gavin?
I got no riff, but I'm still so cool. You know what? If you don't like the riff, I don't have. You know, I'm just gonna kill you, man.
Ay.